Good morning, Cardano family. It's your boy Boomin coming at you with yet another video, guys. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, that like button, and that notification bell so you never miss a Boomin video. We got these videos every single day. You don't want to miss them. I got my hot tea and honey locked and loaded, ready to go. Let's get this show started, guys. Today, crypto prices are down due to the Fed meeting occurring. They are expecting a 75 to 100 basis point interest rate increase, which which actively pushes down asset prices. Okay, guys, so just keep that in mind. The Fed is working actively to push down asset prices and increase unemployment in order to tamper inflation, because that reduces the demand, because people don't have money, because the assets are crashed and a lot of people have lost their job. So the higher unemployment is, the lower asset prices are. That puts downward price pressure on, other things. So that's what the Fed is actively trying to do, and we're seeing that in the markets now. We just hop on over to crypto, CoinGecko here. Bitcoin's down, Cardano's down about 7%. Maybe later this week it could be a good time to pick up some cheap Cardano. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much why we're down today. I've called this a mile away. If they keep on raising interest rates, they're going to put downward pressure on the prices. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and move on, guys. This is a cool little video here, guys. Why Vasil? So Vasil is a tribute to a long time member of the Cardano community, Vasil St. Dabov. I believe he has passed away, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and, yes, he has. A Haskellr entrepreneur who has left a remarkable legacy with over 10K trees planted. Let's go ahead and take a look at the short tribute video.
Now, a few of you may be wondering why we named this upcoming release Vasil. Well, we named it in honor of Vasil Stoyanov Dabov, a long-time member of our community who sadly passed away last year. Vasil was an artist, an entrepreneur, a Haskellr, and a passionate ginkgologist who planted more than 10,000 ginkgo biloba and metasequoia trees in his lifetime, and that's only before he stopped counting. As Vasil put it, after I planted a few thousand trees, I realized that instead of spending time counting how many trees I planted, I could use the same time to plant more trees. Vasil helped organize Cardano's second anniversary celebrations in his home city of Plovdiv, Bulgaria, and a number of us, including myself, had the privilege of meeting him and planting some trees at the university. Now, ginkgos, in case you didn't know, are among the most ancient of trees, with some living examples believed to be over 1,500 years old. So this gesture was very much in line with Vasil's personal philosophy. Vasil called himself an urban shaman who practiced a life of dedication to presence, knowledge, and connection to the natural world. He was an adherent of Holonist philosophy, a holon being described by writer Arthur Koestler in The Ghost of the Machine as something that has integrity and identity, while simultaneously being part of a larger system. So all in all, we think it's a rather fitting tribute. To learn more about Vasil, you can watch Charles's tribute in the links below. Our very best wishes go out to Vasil's family.
Rest in peace, Vasil. And you will always be a part of the Cardano community. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on, guys. Shout out to OneCom, ticker symbol 1COMM. Support your small stake pool operators. Now that prices are going to go down, interest rates are going to go up. A lot of small stake pool operators are going to be turning off their machines. Please support the ones that do stick around. OneCom is a great one. 0% fees until at least the end of December 2022 for all existing and new delegators. Let's continue to chop wood, guys. And before we get on to the rest of the Charles Hoskinson meeting with the House of Representatives of Agriculture, let's go ahead and talk about this little tidbit of news. BITTRUE is helping with the decentralization of ADA by staking with community stake pools. We'll be contributing 1 million ADA to several of them. You can nominate a high quality pool in the replies below or fill out this. So this is definitely a good initiative. I'm going to retweet this if you guys want to hop on my Twitter and let me know. And then there was some comment talking about, oh man, we don't want to hear about your Twitter. Man, get the heck out of here. Nobody was talking to you. Go listen to a TA video so they can tell you all kind of lies about how they can figure out what's going to happen tomorrow with Bitcoin. Go watch another TA video, scrub. Anyway, that was mean. Let's go on here. And let's go ahead and finish this up. We stopped here yesterday with the Charles interview. I think we should watch about 5 to 6 minutes more of it. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Very apt. Cryptocurrency markets have been on a roller coaster in recent months. In the last few weeks have seen an absolute and horrible meltdown as Bitcoin has lost over half of its value.
But if any witnesses have thoughts, please feel free to share them. Do you agree that the CFTC is well suited to oversee spot markets for the digital assets? And what authorities, if any, does the CFTC need to assume regulatory authority over digital spot markets? Okay.
I'll take a bite at it.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
I am not a securities lawyer or an expert on regulation, so take it with a grain of salt. But I don't think it's a question of, as I mentioned before, who is more permissive or who's less restrictive. It's more of a question of efficacy. And when you look at commodities, commodities are intrinsically decentralized. So I grow hay on one of my farms, and I didn't have to ask permission. There's no central hay agency. We're not the Soviet Union. We don't regulate things that way. And then suddenly when I cut it and I sell it, it enters into a global marketplace. Now that marketplace has rules and principles and protections, and there's a retail component, people feed horses, and then there's certainly an industrial component. So if cryptocurrencies are truly decentralized and that actually is a real thing, then it does make sense to embed that into a framework that's designed for things that are intrinsically this way. And you have to look out for cartels, market manipulation. You have to look out for where global actors try to come in, like China or others, and take over a market like they're trying to do the lithium markets. But that's a very different type of notion than a security in that respect. So my view, the most effective thing that can be done over the next 12, 24 months is to have a really good notion of what is decentralization and what are the factors that produce that. And if it gets past a certain threshold, it makes a lot of natural sense to regulate things like a commodity as opposed to a security. And if they don't, well, then it's very obvious who has the disclosure requirement.
Well done. So thank you for your answer. Mr. Chairman, with the lack of remaining time, I'll yield back. Thank you.
As I had to step out, I had a meeting in my office with constituents, but I'm going to start with you, Mr. McGonigal. This isn't, it's not corn, it's not gold, it's certainly not dollars, and there are a lot of questions here. One is if the U.S. is going to regulate, then it's CFTC versus SEC. Some have suggested even a new agency. Then there's the how, if you do that, and then there's the who do you regulate. So my understanding is there are 20,000 approximately cryptocurrencies in the world worth about $3 trillion. Is that close? Give or take $1 trillion on a day on the values, but somewhere around 20,000 currencies. I mean, the question I have, 20,000 currencies, CFTC, how many people work at the CFTC today?
Yeah, thank you, Congressman. Of several hundred.
Several hundred. So you would be talking about, if they gave up everything that they're currently doing, you're talking about, 100 cryptocurrencies a person. My point is, it's not possible to regulate all of these currencies. It's just not. And so then the question becomes who? And I mean, is it that we're going to have a value if the currency reaches a certain dollar figure that all of a sudden we're going to regulate it. I'm interested in any comments that any of you may have on, of the 20,000 cryptos, how you determine who should be regulated.
Well, one of the powers of our industry is the fact that regulation can become algorithmic. So you don't have to think, well, which person's going to sit down and look at this big pile? Think of the IRS and tax returns. We could quadruple the size of the IRS, we still couldn't audit every single American. It's just not possible. And so what you have to do is say, what tools do we have at our capability? And what's magical about cryptocurrencies is that in the transactions themselves, they can carry metadata, they can carry identity. Rule makers and policymakers can take a step back and say, well, these are the things that we care about, and we can make sure inside the systems that those things don't settle and clear until those things are present. So it's really more of a conversation of what do you care about, and then what we can do as technologists is create a self-certification system. And then what can happen is when there are anomalies or special cases, which often would be rare, then the CFTC or another regulatory body could look through and say, well, let's investigate that. That's generally how we do law enforcement in the nation. We don't break into everybody's house. We wait until we get a warrant, and you have to have some cause for it. So there needs to be some social infrastructure for that.
So self-certification is different than an agency regulating.
Well, they're interconnected. So you have SROs, you have market standards, you have principles, and in many cases, financial regulation is mostly done by SROs or private organizations. If you look at, for example, compliance, it's not the SEC or the CFTC going out there doing KYC and AML. It's banks that are doing these types of things. So it's a public-private partnership, and what needs to be done is to establish those boundaries, and then what we can do as innovators is write software to help make that happen. And literally that's what Chainalysis is doing right now and their competitors.
Excellent work by Charles here. Yeah, I agree. There's some good questions by the senator there as well. And, you know, all we need to do is to come to some sort of understanding, okay? If we can come to some sort of agreement that's fair for both sides when it comes to regulation, then I think we can really, really push a pro-crypto agenda that is good for all, allows anyone to participate in this system. So thank you to Charles for speaking very concisely. I'm gonna go now. I love you guys so much. Don't let your means be dreams. I will talk to you tomorrow with the Vechain and Cardano updates. Have an amazing day. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Before we end, I'd like to say thank you to our wonderful Patreons. Without you guys, I don't know if I'd still be doing this. Thank you so much for your wonderful support. Maryland for Crypto, Anthony Andrews, Faruz Den, Kyle Bachi, CryptoSVT.si, Angeltopia, DNC Vale, Leon Jackson II, Kragan, Allflare LLC, and Lucky Sunshine Token. Thank you again. I humbly appreciate you. Go ahead, click the links down below, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and we'll be back with another Vechain and Cardano video.